Hey everybody, Pat here again from West Corners Custom Cycles. Welcome back to the Underground Garage. You see my breath here. It's about 33 degrees out here in New York. We got 2-3 inches of snow out there. Dropped on us last night. I got the heaters going, so it should warm up here pretty soon. But today we got two more things to do on this 91 bagger that I've been working on. I had it covered up to keep some of the dust and everything off of it, but the two things we got left are we got to wire all the lights on the front and the back, and we got to get this carburetor cleaned out. I also got to get that bar back from Chrome, but that's another story I'll tell you later. So we got to get all this off. It's all Allen's. There's two here, there's two here, three around the front. Should be able to pull this off the front of it, the hypercharger. There's a vacuum line on the back. Once we get that up, there's two bolts here on either side, holding the mount that the carburetor's on to the motor, so it's all nice and solid. Well, let me get you in here closer so you can watch and see what we're doing better. Okay. Now, the two on the sides here, two there and two here, are different than the three on the front. Three on the front are 5/32, and these two on either side are 7/64. Now, I like to use a wrench. I put it on the Allen, gives me a little more leverage. I can pop it free. So let's get these off of here. Actually, I'll go with these top ones first. They're not in there too tight. I guess I don't need the wrench. Now, something you should definitely do is either take the hardware and put it in a bag so you do not lose any of it. I shouldn't have an issue with this because I'm literally taking it into the house. We're going to put it in the ultrasonic cleaner, and as soon as it's done, I'm bringing it right back out here and putting it right back on the bike. So hopefully it shouldn't be off here more than an hour or two. But I'm putting the hardware right back in the holes on this, so I don't lose anything. Now you can see on the side plate, this hypercharger flap goes into this little rubber grommet here when you put it back together. Put that right on the footboard. Okay, other side here. Let's see what I'm doing. So either put this hardware in a bag or screw it back in the holes it came out of. That way you don't lose any of it. Put this hardware right back in the holes you get it out of. And you may not have a hypercharger, doesn't matter. Do it on whatever air cleaner you have or anything else for that matter. Either bag and tag your stuff in a Ziploc bag, or put it right back in the hole it came out of, and that way you don't got to figure out where it went. All right. Now I'm going to pull these front three because this flap on the hypercharger is hooked to a linkage in here that's vacuum operated. And I want to disconnect as little as possible on this thing. Just enough to get the carburetor off and get it back as easy and quickly as I can. If you hear that noise in the background, my camera happens to be right next to the heater. Making some noise. I got a propane heater. But it takes the edge off. Now that's the air cleaner, comes right off with the front of it. These 3 bolts. Like I said, I'm putting these right back where they came from. All 3 bolts are the same. Okay. Now we have 3 Allens right here that hold this back plate onto the carburetor. Those are 3/16. Like I said, I like to use a wrench to help give me a little leverage to break them free. Well, there goes that. Now, I believe if I remember right, my buddy, Shepherd, yes it is. I thought it was an S&S carburetor on here. And it is okay. Now, that's the vacuum unit. The vacuum hose going to it to operate the flap. That's the linkage. We're just going to set that off to the side. And we're going to put all the bolts back in. Actually, I can't do that yet. I got to take these 2 big ones off first, so this plate isn't going to come off. All right, let me get a wrench. Here, okay. That is 3/4. And as I've said 100 times before, nothing on a carburetor needs gorilla strength to tighten it down. Give it German specs, good and tight. over crank it down. And if I'm not mistaken, and I'm pretty sure I'm probably not, yep. My buddy, the shepherd who used to own this, I think milled and made this whole bracket right here. I'll bet my bottom dollar. I'll have to ask him when I talk to him later. And there we are. Now we're at the carburetor. And that dismounts from two Allens, one up here on the top on the intake manifold and one down here on the bottom. This is a S&S Super B carburetor. Alright, well I'm going to get an Allen. I'm going to go around the other side of this bike. I'm going to loosen these Allens. Excuse me. I'll have to undo, I'll show you once I get it disconnected from the manifold how to undo the throttle cable, and we will undo the fuel line right here. Then we're going to have to drain the float bolt because I'm sure there's some old gas in there. But let me get on that back side, and once I get them two bolts out, I'll come back and we can go through the rest of it. You don't need to watch me take two Allen bolts out. You know how to do that. All right, everybody. Lots happened since 2 seconds ago. As you can see, tank is off, seat is off, rear tire is off. How this all happened, I gotta explain to you. I went to get the back two bolts out of the Allen bolts here, out of the carburetor. Well, my buddy had relocated the coil on this thing that used to be up here, and he put it over here. It's a crane coil. And high performance coil he put over there, but he put it where the horn used to be, so it blocked my access to this top bolt. So I figured if I got the tank off, I could get to it from here. So I went to take the tank off, and I couldn't get the tank off without taking the seat off. And the seat, I put a bolt through the back of it, and it had a lock nut on it, and I couldn't get up to that with the tire on it. So I had to take the tire off, which is all okay because I had to get the tire off to do the wiring on the rear fender and the rear lights. And the tank has to come off there, you know, for everything to go for paint anyway. And so no big deal. I had to take the seat, tank, and rear tire off anyway. So that's all done. We're back. I finally got this broke free with an Allen wrench, the top one. And then I had to get in there with these angled pliers and work it out the rest of the way. So I'm going to put a hex bolt with a hex head on there so I can just get it with a wrench right here next time if I ever have to take it off again. But I can get this one out. I'm going to go around the other side, pop that back one out. We'll take this off. I told you I was going to unhook the gas line here. Didn't have to. It's already unhooked from the tank, so I'm just going to pull it out. The only thing we're really going to have to disconnect after I take these two bolts out is this throttle cable, and that's real simple. So I'll be right back. I'm going on the other side. Not going to take you with me because there's not a lot of room over here. These are a 5/16 or 8 millimeter, however you want to go. And you got that top bolt just about out, and so you can see that carburetor wiggling around like that. There. That was only in by about a half a thread. Okay, there we go. That's the fuel line. It was already unhooked. My buddy put a nice fitting on there on the end. I like that. Excuse me. Now I'm gonna bring you in closer here so you can see how to unhook this throttle cable. All right, I got this thing on 10 times zoom so you can see this, but right here, this is the throttle cable coming down. This is just the throttle cable bracket. Got these two parts here because at one time this was originally push and pull, two throttle cables. One went in this side, one went in this. Now it's one. But the way you disconnect this, you pull up on this, the cable will come right out this slot here. Once it does that, you just turn the carburetor, the cable pops right out. That's it. That's it in a nutshell. So now we got this off. I'm going to take it downstairs and I'm going to show you how to take it apart, go through it. We're going to put it in the ultrasonic cleaner and we'll get her cleaned up and go from there. Okay.